This video is about always blaming the victim. I just made that in the other video because people were blaming a tragedy. We blame everything on everybody all the time. We're just a nation and a world that blames. And blame is, it's a way to avoid the work all of us need to do to reevaluate. So let's just say, I love to use the Casey Anthony story because here's a blame story. You want to blame Casey. You don't want to blame the mother. And actually, they both get blame. But it's the kind of blame where we need to grow from the blame. And a 20-year-old and a 21-year-old still hasn't got a fully developed brain. And therefore, when she went to kill her child out of jealousy and to hurt her mother, and that it was, inconveniencing her life, what we needed to do more than blame her is research it and say, yeah, she did it and she's guilty and she needs a sentence. But we need to look at how this happened and how to prevent it and how to fix it so that at least it's only that baby that one time and, get forward. So more than blaming, we need to evaluate. And you have to then go to the roots, which is this toxic mother who created her jealousy in her daughter by praising the baby and then bashing the daughter instead of trying to help this daughter succeed. It was like it was a competition. And the thing about staying stuck in the blame phase of things and the blame identity is that nobody graduates and nobody grows. And then you just stay going, yep, toxic mother, toxic daughter. And we can do this with any tragedy, any crime, any act. Let's take the Natalie Holloway, whose mother, reluctantly let her leave the country and go to the Bahamas and celebrate her graduation. And we blamed that she drank. We blamed that this. We blamed that. When here's this young, innocent, uninhibited, truly beautiful girl, there could not be an ounce of blame on her because she was victimized. And then we let off scot-free the murderer to not even say where she was buried or what happened for real. And so we didn't graduate from anything in that whole scenario. It was like a wasted, still plaguing the nation scenario where people still go to the Bahamas, they're still having people in jeopardy, that bar is still probably allowing drugs and date rape drugs and victimizing women. And we just didn't ever do the right thing to try to protect everyone else from ever happening to this, having that happen to their life when they haven't even gotten started. And so I am a big person against blame and against hatred and against victimizing our victims. I'm always the one that's digging under that to get to the root, to get to the message, to get to the change that's possible and the growth. And blame lets you stay off the hook and never look at yourself and never look at anything. You just be like, your fault, your fault, your fault. If you're fighting with your mother, it's your fault, you're a bad child. Like everything that happens, if you stay stuck in blame and in the blame game, you actually never, ever advance in your life. And you live in a way where you just judge and prejudge and then judge some more. And again, our nation has been conditioned to blame, generations and probably centuries of blame. But if you're in a progressive life and you're trying to heal, the only thing you don't do is blame. You look under it and you try to analyze it so that there's growth in you and growth in the story and growth in the tragedy, but you never stay stuck in blame. And so the way I wrap my head around the Casey Anthony story is that you had an innocent child that was victimized to death. You had a mom who couldn't figure out, because she was so selfish, so battered, so abused, and had a toxic mother. She couldn't figure out how to make her life work, and so she wanted to drown it in partying and pretending that she was happy and getting all kinds of attention over and above anything in life. And that is attention to like a dangerous level, because the pictures and things that I saw and the world saw were way out of proportion to someone what they need to feel okay in their life. And when you need that repeatedly and repeatedly, it's like it's like a quick fix for your pain. Oh, they like me. Oh, I'm popular. Oh, I'm beautiful. Oh, I'm this. Because you have no other way to feel your worth. And then, of course, we have the mother who actually never wanted to take responsibility or even acknowledge that she pushed this into happening, because she created the rage, she created the jealousy, and she was way too controlling. And she wanted the little girl, but she was incredibly abusive and unsupportive to her daughter. And she used her as a punching bag, probably because her own mother did that, and refused to break the chain. So for people that are healing and in this journey of changing how they live, we need to get beneath the blame into what can we do now? How can we fix it? And how do we graduate so that even in our own minds, we're walking around with healed thoughts and healed information. And because the last thing I do is go to blame somebody every day of my life, even when I hear these stories, the first thing I went is on the guy that fell off the cliff is like, oh my God, we're just too intent on multitasking and doing two things at once instead of understanding that that could end our life. And I didn't have an ounce of trying to blame him. I felt empathy. And when you're healed, you can feel those emotions, and you can feel loss, and you can feel pain, but you're not attacking him and blaming him so that you don't have to think about how scary that is. And I will put the link to that story, that tragedy, in both of these two videos so that people can read what happened in case they didn't see it. And everybody, heal ourselves. Stop blaming. When you don't blame and you live this way, you live way better and so much happier. Thank you.